can tell by the title. Uh, it is Zeal and Supplication. And it's kind of what we're going to be talking about. It's going to be pretty broad. Um, but in a nutshell, you can narrow it down to those two terms, zeal and supplication. Um, oh, I'll give a second for brothers and sisters to get in there, and then we're gonna get into it, and we're gonna come straight down the middle. Um, so, what I want to do first is just I want to make sure the audio is good. So, if the audio is good, please let me know in the comments. Um, and then we'll move forward. Give me 1 second as I get everything situated here. All right. So yeah, what we're talking about, um, we're discussing zeal and supplication, and what we're going to be getting into is what that looks like, and how it affects the walk, the mission, you name it. That's what we are going to be looking at. All right. Let me get this up. We got some Bible verses here. And let me find those. All right. So we got them. It looks like I think everything loaded up. We're gonna verify. All right. So yeah, we're good to go. Got all right. Yeah. So it looks like I didn't get all the Bible verses up there, but I got the majority of them. So we're gonna be good. And if you could, sis, just let me know how the audio is, if I'm coming across good. And if I am, we're going to press forward and we're going to get this thing, we're going to get things rolling. So I'll just wait to make sure I got good audio. And then we're going to start moving forward. All right, so we got confirmation. My audio is good. And so, yeah, what we're talking about is zeal and supplication, y'all. And, I'm going to put this Bible verse up here. Let me see if I got a good one to kind of kick this off on what I'm getting at. And we have this is Romans chapter 12. I'm going to start at verse 10. And it says, "Be kindly affection one to another with brotherly love and honor, preferring one another, not slothful in business, fervent in spirit, serving the Lord, rejoicing in hope, patient in tribulation, continuing instant in prayer." Okay. And particularly Romans chapter 12, verse 11, I want to break that down a little. And I actually found a good breakdown in in a basic English version of Bible, and it basically says, "Be not slow in your work, but be quick in spirit as the Lord's servants." And kind of in a nutshell, what that's saying is, don't be the type of person who, spiritually you off the charts, but when it comes time um, to function, to work together, and everything like that, then you're slothful. And I put a little statement here that I'm gonna read that, and it's just real talk. Um, it's like when you're working around the saints and the ain'ts, you can tell the difference. You know what I'm saying? You could tell the difference between the people who are looking to help themselves versus the people who are looking to help the team. Okay, you can see the difference. There's a big difference. You know, and it's like it begs a question because being in this walk on the level that we walk this out on, you know, you ask you're like, you know, how can a so-called godly person, and you watch people out here, man, they talk a good game. Like me, I'm a show me person. I'm a show me the footwork type person. But, I definitely believe in faith without works is dead. But you got a lot of people, man, you know, they such godly people, but they're a disaster to live with or to work around. And it's like that shouldn't be. Something's missing, something's off. When somebody is a, you know, on the surface, they're godly, you see them praising, you see them worshiping, jumping around, studying, doing this, that, and the other. But then when it comes time to actually live with them and function as a brother with them or function as a sister with them, they're just an absolute disaster. Okay. So, yeah, it is, it's amazing, to see that dynamic. And what it comes down to, you know, we we study. So listen to what I'm saying. We're studying. We're worshiping Yah. We're acknowledging that He is King. He is the way. He is. Why is He the way? Because He shows us the way. He helps us navigate through this wicked, evil world. He's made a way for us. Right. That's one of the reasons we're praising and worshiping Him. That's one of the reasons we're studying, we're seeking, we're studying His word, we're praying fast and seeking His word. Okay. But people get that confused as being the work. But what's the work? The work is what you do with all that studying and praising that you've been doing. That is the actual work. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of people get the practice confused with the work. You know what I'm saying? They feel like the praising and the worshiping and the studying is the work. That is all that is only is to prepare you for when you're in the situation. When your flesh is telling you one thing, your flesh is telling you to be lazy. Your flesh is telling you to care for itself, not your brother. When your your flesh is lusting or whatever, when you're in the heat of the temptation, all that practice and worship is designed for when you're in that moment of distress for you to make the right decision, move in the righteous way, move in the correct way. And man, it's a lot of people are missing that thing. You see what I'm saying? A lot of people they are completely, totally missing that there. They're not seeing that thing right there. They not it's not that simple truth is not registering. So where in their minds, hey, I'm praising, I'm worshiping, I'm studying, I'm good. I'm doing the works, I'm walking it out because I'm doing that. And that's like a football player. Hey, I go to practice, I lift weights, I'm good. But no, how are you gonna know if you're practicing correctly and you're lifting weights and you got the right spirit there? How are you gonna know that? Well, how are you gonna test all that out? What's gonna be um, the indicator that you do all that and it's worthwhile, or you're doing it to a capacity that is, you know, effective? Okay, how are you gonna know that? Game day. You know what I'm saying? Game day gonna tell everything. You know, what do you do when you get out there on the field? Are you fumbling the ball? Are you getting losing yardage all the time? Are you throwing interceptions? Are you missing tackles? You see what I'm saying? That's the work. You're not there. You were you were there to win games and you know move the ball against the enemy, or let's say it's UFC fighting. You know, uh, you sitting there practicing and doing all this practice, but are you winning the fight? You know, are are you winning the fight? Are, so, and I'm harping on this because a lot of people, you know, they got it twisted and they don't understand what the works really are. Certain aspects, you know what I'm saying? And like I say again, a big part of the works is how are you, how are you when you're around your brothers? Like how would your brothers? They're like, oh yeah, he's a good saint, but it's hell living around them, or it's hell working with them, or it's hell trying to get them to do anything, or you know, here's another one. This one is a big one. Can you be relied upon? Can you be counted on? Or let's say it a little clearer. Um, what can people count on you for? Can they count on you to forget stuff, to mess stuff up, to not get stuff done, to not keep your word? That's a big one right there. Is people keeping their word. This is basic biblical brotherhood. Loving your brother is simply when you give your word, you keep it. This is a big one. I see it. you know, it's a big reason why in the past, Straightway Florida did not move forward in the manner that it should. At the speed, I guess you could say, as it should. And don't get it twisted. It's still a major issue in Straightway Florida, Straightway Nashville, with people, you know, with a lot of brothers and sisters in Straightway Florida, and I don't play favorites. It's just, hey, can I count on you to do what you said you were going to do? And we regard ourselves as godly brothers and sisters under the Most High Yah. And I'm telling you, it's disturbing the degree of people who just don't keep their word. Now, I understand sometimes you're going to, hey, yeah, I'll do that. And, you got a little slip up, but there are people you can count on them like the sun is going to rise. You can count on them not doing what they commit to. That's a major thing. And I'm gonna tell you the two things that Straightway Nashville, used to be Straightway Florida, but now Straightway Nashville. The two things that have been, made Straightway Florida move forward at the pace that it has moved forward are people who kept their word and they were selfless. And those two go hand in hand, you know. But those are the two things. But in order, where we are at a point as an assembly, at as far as where we are at right now, where we are, we're slowly growing in a lot of different areas. Uh, People wise, we're growing. Spiritually, we're growing. Um, and business wise, we're growing. Just growing in a lot of areas. But we are at a stage now where, you know, uh, people really have to be relied upon now. Like it's no longer really a 1 or 2 man job. Like when someone's asked to do something, we have to, really trust that, hey, you're going to carry this out, or it's going to severely hinder the work. And this again is one of those low level. It's a low level. What would you call it? Subtle sin going on that is wicked and destructive, but it's very subtle and unseen, really. But it's a thinking of a good analogy for how destructive it is. But it's a very passive, subtle sin that really undermines things, any forward movement. And as a leader, as a head of assembly, I have to really be vigilant about this. And there's people who, just real talk, that people who are unaware that this is their how they operate. And it's not one person, it's not two people, it's pretty widespread. And it's just, once again, it's about keeping it real, keeping things 100. You know what I'm saying? Keeping, if you ain't gonna be able to do something, hey, I ain't gonna be able to do it. You know what I'm saying? And we have to restructure and set things up, do what we need to do. But, however, uh, you know, it's up to us who are truly serious minded about the Most High Yah to be vigilant and to discern what type of spirit people are operating in. And how do you discern what type of spirit people are operating in? You look at what's going on around them. And a lot of people cleverly mask what's going on around them. But it's not discernment. It's like that Bible verse that says, the Most High, he's a discerner of the thoughts and intents of people's hearts. So you just look at people, discern them, watch what's going on, and you can see what's going on around them. You can only hide that so much. And what I've seen, there are people that have, chaos going on around them. They operate in a spirit of chaos. There's people who operate in spirits of, um, passivity. That I could go down the list of the different spirits people operate in, spirits of pride, this, that, and other. You could go down the list and see the different spirits that people are operating in, and spirits of unconsciousness. They're unaware of what's going on around them or in them. And all these different spirits that people will be operating in, or stuff, things that have going on around them, contribute to them to them not being able to be counted on, not being able to walk in true brotherhood, not being able to truly love their brother as they love themselves. Okay? Because that's what it comes down to. It says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your brother as you love yourself. And that's what everything comes down to. That's what everything affects. The Most High is teaching us how to love our brothers as we love ourselves. Be selfless, sacrifice. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lot of, deception. And when I say deception, I'm talking about people have spent years reinforcing certain types of behaviors in themselves, and now they come into something like this, and it can be like facing a huge challenge when you got to come to the realization that, I operate this way, but that's, a big part of what I have to do in my position as a head of assembly or whatever. I have to shed light on this stuff, because that's step one, is putting the light on it. And a lot of people, when that light is shining, they're like, ooh, their eyes hurt, But you got to be serious minded about, becoming aware of where you are falling short and affecting brothers and sisters. And, the other thing is, after the second or third admonition, we have to just keep things moving, turn you over to Satan, whatever. But we have to, in order for me to continue doing the Most High's work, doing what I need to do, certain people that, hey, I just can't come to you for anything anymore, until you begin to get things together. You really can't be counted on, because clearly you have other things that are more important than, the mission that you've committed to. But again, and that could be the difficult part, things slow down. You can't move as fast. And again, it goes back to that thing where people, again, they're unaware of the effect that their lack of true servitude, they're unaware of the effect that has. So when people are deceived in thinking they're doing the works, but they're really not, they can't be counted on for anything, they're totally aware of the effect that has on the whole, and what they're doing, and that they are hindering the work. And I'm not talking something I just think and it sounds clever because I read some Bible verses. Look, I see this thing. I've been seeing this thing for years. And it was hard. Initially, it was hard to see until we had some righteous, serious-minded brothers and sisters really step forward, when they got a good witness in their spirit, some serious-minded, righteous brothers and sisters, they stepped up. And I could see contrast the difference. It's like, man, I ask this person to do something, it's as good as done. With the same certainty that the sun's going to rise, this person is going to have what I'm asking them to do done. You know what I'm saying? This person, I could count on them to take this burden off so I'm not stressed with this. You know, I could count on this person when I ask them to do something that they're not going to be a distraction and a hindrance to me spiritually and my spiritual growth, because I'm getting so frustrated with them. I'm constantly having to be on that. You see what I'm saying? Again, Satan subtly deploys people in there, or people are unknowingly serving Satan, and they don't realize they are a spiritual hindrance to other people. Even watching, I was watching Pastor Dow, and it's sad that certain things, I see him dealing with, calling certain things out, and it's just a spiritual distraction to the head of an assembly. You know what I'm saying? Where, like me, I have brothers and sisters who I can tell that they are not selfish, that I ask them to do something, they follow through with it because they're watching to make sure, hey, I don't want to hinder my leader, because if I'm hindering him, I'm hindering my progress and everybody else's. So in their minds, that they're watching, seeing where they could help, ready to help, ready to do what they need to do. Then you have these other people, and in their mind, it's about you just watch. They are self-centered. What does Pat say? Self-centered, self-absorbed, self-focused, or something like that. They are that. And every time you're around them, you're having to pump energy in them. I was on Pastor Corey's. I was on Pastor Corey had a Zoom yesterday. It was awesome. And this is one of the things he wanted me to just talk about what I was getting out of it, because he was coming down the middle with a great lesson. And I was just saying, yeah, man, there are people where you are just literally constantly pumping spiritual energy in all the time. Anytime you're around them, you're exerting energy on these people, some type of negative energy. They're getting you out of the spirit, and you're trying to pump them up, pump energy into them, and they got a bunch of holes in them. It's to no avail. And it's like, we gotta just learn to let that go. And that's what I'm doing. That's how Straightway Nashville is getting ready to shift gears. And look, we're no respecter of person. I will navigate around anybody. It's like a lot of y'all. There's a movie Heat that came out probably in the 90s or something like that. It's an old movie, Robert De Niro in it, and he talks about, you got to be ready to leave anything, anyone, any person, place, or thing, if you see the heat coming around the corner, the cops coming towards you or whatever, But you got to be in that mindset where, hey, look, you're not going to let people, places, or things hinder the work or hinder your spiritual progression. You are to work your salvation out with fear and trembling, according to the book. So it's not a game out here. And here we are. We are in the dead season, so it's really not a game. We have, like I told my saints, been talking to them all week, and I told them, hey, look, we're at the FOB, the forward operating base. We're getting ready to go off base now, out into enemy territory. Make sure you have a round chambered. Make sure you're locked and loaded. Make sure your armor, your gear is on properly, and keep your head on a swivel. Stay vigilant. Stay engaged. Stay locked in. You know what I'm saying? You studied your battlefield manual, you studied the mission briefing and the plan of attack and everything. And then I was telling the Saints in the middle of the week, I was telling them, look, we're out there, we're in the field. And literally, there's stuff I see. This is more stuff I see right now. And it's literally like contact, 12 o'clock, 30 meters, enemy sighted. Get locked and loaded, get ready to what? Not to hide, get ready to engage. Don't run in the bushes and hide from that enemy. We're going to devise a tactic. We're going to flank them or whatever, and we're going to engage the enemy. And it's like a lot of brothers and sisters, they get it, but a lot of them don't. And you could just see it. Our people wrestle and struggle with obedience. And me as a head of assembly, as a father and a husband, I see it firsthand. We very much wrestle with these spirits. It's not a game. And, you know, you can, you know, you're like a person, you're standing there and someone's standing on the train tracks and you're yelling and screaming at them to get off the train tracks. That light is not light at the end of the tunnel. That's a train coming. And you're standing on the train tracks, front of the train. Get off the train tracks. And they got every reason. Well, why are you yelling? Because there's a train coming and you need to get off the track. Calm down. You don't have to yell. All you have to do is ask. Well, I'm asking you, get off. Well, I mean, I'm going to get off, but I'm like, there's a train coming. You know what I'm saying? And that's literally the way it can be at times. And people don't trust it. They don't trust you. They're not willing to look into what you're saying. And, you know, they look at you as the bad guy, you know, and hey, you know, that almost brings us into a whole nother thing. People have a misconstrued understanding of what bad is. You know what I'm saying? This day and age, to them, bad or evil is anything that makes them feel that doesn't feel good. So when you get rebuked or corrected and it don't feel good, or somebody instructing you or telling you what you need to do, like to them that no, you ain't gonna tell me what to do and all this other stuff. Or a lot of times it's subliminal, subtle rebellion, you know, that people are operating in. But, you know, it is what it is, you know. And check this out. This is heavy now. It's very simple, but it's heavy. Then people operating like that because, again, a lot of us aren't fully walking the word out, myself included, where I'm not, the way they pull us out of the word, the way they pull us out of our walk with Yah is you get sucked into that. You get frustrated with it and you keep engaging that and it pulls you out of the spirit. When the reality is you just need to sidestep them and keep it moving and let Satan deal with them and stay working your salvation out with fear and trembling. Don't let people pull you out of what you need to be walking in. So this is a major dynamic. You know, just sit, you know, we can't be there, you know, entertaining sinners, you know, for lack of a better word. It's just real talk. You can't let people frustrate the work. You can't let people frustrate your walk. And I'm learning that. It's just there's moves that need to be made. and it's going to be what it's going to be. And it's, you know, you got to be very mission oriented. I know it's spiritual combat. You see the camouflage up. It, the military, uh, um, because the military analogies it's just a must when you start getting into this word. It's Christianity, your traditional Christianity has just totally perfectly twisted everything in the word upside down. Christianity telling you it's about good feelings and how you feel. The word telling you it's about this truth. Disengage from your flesh. Christianity is trying to get you to engage your flesh and your feelings and your emotions and how everything feels and appears, and don't hurt my feelings type shit and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? The word's telling you separate from your flesh, stay locked into the spirit, be obedient to Yah's word. It's telling you something perfectly and totally opposite. And it's so subtle that a lot of people get it twisted. And I'm telling you, it's one of the main reasons why we don't have, you look at most of these Hebrew Israelite groups and Christian groups and assemblies and camps and congregations, all that, they ain't got nothing to show for nothing. You come over here and look at Straightway, there's fruit everywhere. It's growing, it's on the ground, it's all over the place. And why? Because look, they're adhering to the standard. So yeah, man, it's we gotta there's gonna be a shift here in Straightway Nashville, because again, I'm looking at I got a lot on my plate now, and what we're getting ready to do is shift gears. And as you know, when we shift gears here in Straightway Nashville, Straightway Florida, when we shift gears, folks be falling off. A lot of times people can't hold on, or they begin getting left. And like I said, I'm not connected or attached to any people, places, or things to where, hey, if it's getting in the way of this work for Yah, hey, it'll just get left. And it's not that I'm taking some hard, evil stance. But again, the Christian programming, you can't leave people. You just have to be patient with them and long suffer. Yeah, the Bible says long suffer. It doesn't say forever suffer. It says long suffer. And after a long period of time has passed, I'm done suffering. And we done. And I'm moving on. Okay? Patience is patience. It's just giving people time. But again, you give them time. When that time's up, it's time to what? Keep it moving. You see what I'm saying? But when we're all wrapped up in this emotional thing, thinking stuff just gonna keep going forever, that's when we're falling into that Christianity fantasy. You see what I'm saying? That pervert those perverted doctrines of feelings. All right. So let's see. Okay. So somebody said, and I'm gonna be putting some verses up here, but it says, how do you fellowship if transportation is an issue? You get some transportation, so it's not an issue. And I'm not being smart, but listen, how is the transportation an issue? I would ask people, So if let's do a thing. Let's say you don't have a car, take a bus. I'm not telling you something that people have not done. There is a brother, now I might not tell this story 100% correctly, but I know what I'm talking about. There's a brother, or I think it was a sister who came out to fellowship with Brother Kabir. They lived like another state over, no car. They took a bus. Every Shabbat or every other Shabbat, they would take a bus out there. If your car is not working, or if you don't have a car, get another job. Get 2 jobs, stack money, get a car. It's y'all, you see where I'm going. Look, this thing is not complicated. If you're asking me, people who are familiar with me know any obstacle placed in front of me, I will either go through it, over it, around it, under it, or I'll blow the whole thing up and just walk right on past it. But I don't see any. So when a question, how do you fellowship if transportation is an issue? There is some way to get around this issue. You could either go under it, go through it, go around it, go over it. It's not complicated. Antonio Green. So come on in and let me know, elaborate on that so we can elaborate on it so we can figure out how to fully get around it. Do you not have a car? Let me know exactly what you're talking about. And then I can help you implement, a solution. Okay. So definitely come on, elaborate on that a little more if you can, Antonio Green. All right. Let's see. Sister, y'all said, I appreciate you always being straight up the middle. What I love about straightway. Yeah, that's straightway style. Let me see if anybody else have anything. I got some Bible verses we're getting ready to get into. Just kind of reiterating what I'm talking about here. And don't get it twisted. I'm not, I know there's a margin of error. I know, people get stuff twisted, and contrary to popular belief, I long suffer a ton to a fault. Okay. So he said, car is down. I'm in PA, but a bus is a good option. Thank you. Yeah. So take the bus, also get a second job for a season to save up money to get the car either repaired or replaced. Again, listen, and I'm going to tell y'all this, and this is something I left out. And I'm glad Brother Antonio put that in there because it brought it to my remembrance. Again, the feminized Christianity fantasy doctrine that they push, warfare and fighting is never in there. Oh no, just let go, let God, and float, and fairies and flowers and pink shit and all that stuff. Yo, everything is a fight. Anything worth anything is a fight. Brother Antonio is going to have to fight to get to fellowship. He's going to have to go to war with this situation. He's going to have to go to war filling out applications to bring more money in. He's going to have to go to war to wake up and keep his energy level up to bring this money in to get this vehicle fixed or repaired or whatever. Or he's going to have to fight and get up even earlier to catch the bus to get to the fellowship. But it's once you understand the whole dynamic of taken by force, you begin to love it. Is who you are, is a warrior. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't the word say, it says, gird, you know, put on the sword of the breastplate, all that. Dude, there's war analogies, soldier analogies. You know, the Most High, he's a man, a warrior. Who is his name? Is all through the book. It's about warfare and combat. And because I started talking about that, I got to read this. One of my favorite scriptures. Some of y'all already know where I'm going. Check this out, y'all. Y'all give me a sec as I pull this up. Okay. We're gonna go. I'm reading from Joshua. Y'all already know. Joshua chapter 1, verse 1. That's how much I like this chapter. Okay, I like it. I like it a lot. Like my man said on Dumb and Dumb. So look, this is how much I like that. So check this out. It says, now after the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord, it came to pass that the Lord spake unto Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' minister, saying, Moses, my servant is dead, and therefore arise, go over this Jordan, thou and all this people, unto the land which I do give to them. So he's giving them this land. But this is, again, we killing off Christianity fantasy. We come in with real book, okay, of what the word says. So you get ready to see how the Most High gives you stuff, okay? He said, unto the land which I do give to them, and even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given unto you. He said a second time, he's given it to them, right? As I said unto Moses, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, even unto the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and unto the great sea towards the going down of the sun shall be your coast. So again, he's given them for the third time. He's given this to them. There shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so will be with thee. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. Okay? So he's given them this. In the Christianity fantasy mindset, you're going to be sitting there like, oh, so it's mine. So, oh, just give it to me like I won the lotto. And I just, and that's how you're thinking. That's how they got you gassed up, how Yah gives you stuff. Okay? It says, be strong. So again, it says, I will not fail thee nor forsake. Let me read that last paragraph. It says, there shall not any man be able to stand before thee all the days of thy life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with thee. I will not fail thee nor forsake thee. So he said he's given him this land. He said it more than 3 or 4 times that it's theirs. He gave it to them, right? It says, be strong and of good courage, for unto this people shalt thou divide for an inheritance the land which I swear unto their fathers to give them. Only be thou strong and very courageous, that thou mayest observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded thee. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. Okay? So he's telling them to be strong, be of good courage. As you read on through this, he said the land's yours, but you got to go in there and fight for it, and you're going to win. But you have to do what you're told to do. You have to be strong and be of good courage. And a lot of people, they're praying, they're asking y'all for stuff, they're wanting things, but they're not doing their part. They're not fighting and going to war for it. And they don't get that. Oh no, I'm gonna let go, let God. I'm gonna trust y'all. And they got this concept, this Christian fantasy mindset of the way things work. Like he's the God genie, just only work you gotta do is rub it 3 times and make a wish. No, you got to go to war. It's you got to take ground. It's war, and as you know, you read through this chapter, he tells them, and you read through that whole book, is them fighting and going to war and killing mugs. You know what I'm saying? To take ground, and that's life. That's how you do things in life. You have to go to war with these demons. There's a certain amount of willpower you're going to have to exude so that you don't fall to temptation. It's not just going to magically go away and stop harassing you. You got to put the work in. And a lot of people don't get that. And again, that comes right back to the core topic that we're talking about on here, man. People not doing what they say they're going to do. People not being able to take people at their word. And they're claiming to be such godly people, but when they commit to something, you can't count on it. What do we go? If I can't count on somebody to come through on what they say, like, what do we have? You really don't have anything. And again, the reason we've been able to do what we've been able to do, Straightway Florida, Straightway Nashville, is because a small group of people can be counted and relied on for their word. You can hold them to damn near everything they say, especially when it's critical. Because I'm telling you, there's people, man, I don't hold people to the fire on every little tiny thing they say. There's just certain situations I'm like, look, this is a big deal. So we're going to really have to come through this. Are you going to be able to do it? Yes, sir. These dudes is like a special forces unit where you can count on them. They're like, yes, sir. I'll come through. I got you. And just as sure as the sun's going to rise, I know that these brothers are going to come through with what I asked them to do. There's some sisters too, same thing. But again, it's not all of them. But we're going to, especially in this dead season, we're going to bring this to reality. We're going to, or not bring it to reality, we're going to shine the light on this, where people are going to see who's serious and who's not, just through getting some biblical education on what to be looking for. Okay? Because again, this is one of the things that causes a lot of hindrance in the work, that really hurts the work and is real subtle. So a lot of people don't see it unless you've been really taught to focus on it. And we're going to focus on it here. And people can either break or bend, They can either get down or lay down, but y'all is going down. All right. And y'all know I ain't look, I ain't playing favorites. Okay, somebody asked. Okay, there's a couple things. All right, Elder Brent in the building. All right. Let's see what Elder Brent said. Shalom, brother. One brother in GA took a cab to come to Shabbat. Boom. Yeah, that's right. Elder Brent, they got Uber and stuff like that. Forgot about that. Said car is down. I'm in PA, but a bus is good. Okay, so I read that. Somebody said hit that like button. That's right. Hit that like button. Okay. Teacher Shane said the brothers in the UK fellowship many times by Skype and come together on feast days. So Teacher Shane said, because we have brothers who fellowship out there, straightway brothers who fellowship out there in the UK, out there in England. And what he's saying is they Skype. They will do Skype Shabbat together. That's what we do here sometimes. Like yesterday, it was about 10:30 or whatever, 9:30 or whatever. What time was it? But anyway, we do a virtual Bible study. Everybody reads a verse and elaborates on it, and we do it on Zoom. So, yeah, that's definitely another option for sure. Thanks, Teach. All right, let me see. Somebody else who. Somebody said, who's the closest brother to Port St. Lucie? We are, Brother John, we are on November 12th. We are having a Shabbat in Orlando. Okay? You need to call the dining hall and call that dining hall number if you're interested in coming. And yeah, I am still in Florida a lot because of our business. We're working on moving our business up to Tennessee. Most High hasn't seen fit to fully move it up there yet, because obviously there's a lot of saints still down here, and that was made very obvious to me this Feast of Tabernacles. The number of saints that are still here. That's why we are doing a Shabbat in Orlando on November 12th. So what y'all need to do if you're interested in coming is, again, call that dining hall number, talk to Elder Becker and everything, and we'll work it from there. It's a little under a month out. That's something else we're working on. We're very busy, but yeah, so that's what we got going on. But I'll say this too, you knew and you come fellowship with us, there's people that we desire that you link up with and talk to. And then there's other people, they're new or they're a shaky part of Straightway Florida or Straightway Nashville that we wouldn't desire that new saints really get too involved with, because those people are, in the process of growing, and, you might get a, let's say, you wouldn't get a proper understanding of Straightway dealing with them. So there's certain people we recommend brothers and sisters kind of associate with, and we'll let you know. But then what we see is a lot of people gravitate to people of a similar spirit, So, hey, it is what it is. I will long suffer you. All right. Let's hit these other scriptures real quick. I might have hit them all, but let's see. Okay. Okay. So here we go, right here. Somebody said, I stay in the Fort Pierce area, and that's Brother Shamar. Again, he's a new brother, and what I recommend is if you're new, I wouldn't just link up with another new person who's unvetted by Straightway. What I would do is link up with the Straightway Assembly, come to the Shabbat, and get some understanding. And I'm not telling you that to be mean or anything like that. I know brothers and sisters are excited to fellowship, but everybody who says they're Israel ain't Israel. And I mean, I'll just leave it at that because I can tell you some horror stories. And brothers and sisters need to be vetted by righteous, wise, experienced leaders before you just jump into something. And I can tell you that just from my journeys throughout the so-called Hebrew Israelite community before I came to Straightway, man, I was all over America doing Hebrew Israelite stuff, linking up with different Hebrew Israelite assemblies, camps, congregations, and stuff like that. And look, at the end of the day, they the general public, and I'm telling you, look, I got stories I can tell you. So there needs to be a vetting process, and you know that's how we operate. All right, so let me pull up this scripture. We'll read this, and y'all can keep putting the questions, comments in there. I'll definitely address them. Let me see. And put this one. I might have read it earlier, but there. It says, let me take this comment down real quick because it's kind of hard to see it. All right. Okay. Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved. For I bear them record that they have a zeal of God, but not according to knowledge. For they, being ignorant of God's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness of Yah. And that's Romans chapter 10, verse 1 through 3. Okay. And, you know, that's just kind of real talk on what we've been talking about is just people having that zeal. I'm ready. Oh, I'm excited. Yeah. Oh, I want to serve Yah, you know, and people committing to serving Yah, talking about, hey, we're all in. We want to do this 100. But you have to count the costs. And I can't tell you the number of people who they express this zeal openly, emotionally. They show this zeal to serve Yah. When it comes time for them to start dealing with people, places, and things, and those things can be external things or internal things. One of the big ones is just obedience to instruction and having a zeal to change mindsets. I can't tell you the number of people I've seen who, when they realize that that's what it's going to take to truly, and that's giving all, and when they see that, they just fall off. It's just real. So you really got to be serious minded about giving up anything and everything. And there's always something that Most High will put his finger on. I've seen people, they're not going to give up that relationship. You know, they're not going to give up that possession they have. They're not going to change this. They ain't going to change that. They ain't going to move here. They ain't going to move there. They ain't going to, you know, do this, do that, whatever it might take to get in line and be obedient. But I've also seen people who will give anything up, and they all in 100. And those are some of the things that, hey, people got to be vetted for. You know, you got to discern people, see where their spirit's at. Because a lot of people, like I said, like the word said, hey, and you know, like the Most High said, he said, with your mouth you praise me, but your heart is far from me. There's a lot of that going around. And that's just real talk. Y'all put a 100 up in there if y'all get what I'm saying. And while y'all doing that, let me see if I can, I'm going to upload something for y'all. Where is that? Okay. All right. Y'all give me a sec. All right. Ooh. It might take a second. I gotta copy it. All right. It will be up there momentarily. Let me work my magic. And while I'm doing that, somebody said Shabbat. Oh, Shalom, Brother Michael Israel. This topic is humbling and sobering, right on time for me. Bless you. Hey, listen, I'm glad you put that statement in there, Mario, because look, I'm going to tell you what led to this. You know, one of the things I've noticed in just being a head of assembly, talking to leadership, listening to leaders talk, and really, you know, leaders at different levels, ranging from Pastor Dow, Elder Rufus, to other heads of assemblies, and reading the word is, you know, one of the most stressful things that leadership is having to deal with is just people not doing what they say they're going to do, what they committed to do. They're asked to do something, they commit to it, and not following through with it, and not making amends for it, and really looking at the burden and looking at what it does to the leader, like the effect it has on the leader, the frustration of an already difficult job. So I really, you know, I had to really look at that thing and be like, what is this? And I was like, man, that's Satan right there. Just frustrating and upsetting the work. And what are these people doing? Like, what's going on? And it's sin. It's the exact opposite of the works. Faith without works is dead. It's death. Like, it is that. It is people being fake, you know. And then you look at the people doing it, and you realize a lot of them don't even know what they're doing. They don't realize, you know, the burden that they're putting on people a lot of times. Some of them do and don't care. But it's sin. It's just vicious, wicked ass sin. And it's, you know, it's goes right back to what you see through the whole book is stubbornness and disobedience. Stubbornness and disobedience is just not doing what you are supposed to do. It's not complicated. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, one of the things I had to look at with myself is I'm sitting here getting so frustrated with all this stuff that trying to, like one brother said, it's like trying to push a wet noodle. It just, you try to push it a little bit, and it just curves around the other way. It just is literally that frustrating. And then you have to look at yourself. What am I not doing? What I'm not doing is I'm not being obedient to the word where it says, leave them alone, turn them over to Satan. Because what I've done in the past is continue rebuking and admonishing and all that. And it just has a negative effect on all the other brothers. It has a negative effect on their walk, having to deal with it. So now I just move the sin outside the camp so that there can be peace. And that's how we have to move. Not being attached to people, places, and things is a big deal. Not making people, places, or any things a God. See, a lot of people, their thoughts and their mindsets and their feelings, they've made God. They put that in front of doing what the word says. It's real talk and something that really needs, this is systemic. This permeates all through Israel. And I ain't saying it don't, it's something I'm warring with, that I fight with. And when I say I'm warring with, in myself, trying to really be a man of my word. Some of these sisters, they need to be sisters of their word. Get in line with it. Because otherwise it'd be a lot of people busting hell wide open and living a life of hell. Life is chaos, like I said earlier. So there's people who operate in spirits of chaos, and they don't even see it. You see it. Their whole life is like a goddamn tornado. But they don't see it. They're just like, oh, okay. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, yeah, I can't ask them because they're not going to do it. And even if they wanted to do it, they couldn't do it because they don't even see what the hell's going on with them. Other people, nope, can't ask them to do it because deep down, they just don't want to do it because they just got some deep-seated rebellion going on with them. So waking up this morning, Most High really put it on my heart. And now what I'm doing is just shifting gears. Certain people I'm going to just be dealing with. Certain people I won't have nothing to do with in certain areas. And I'll just pray that prayer that Pastor talked about when he's like, people be saying, pray for me when they be a pain in the ass. Pastor said he prayed for him. He prayed that fire on that ass. All right, let's see. Somebody said, so yeah, that was a good point you made there, talking about this is a humbling topic because a lot of people are doing this and don't realize that they're sitting there walking in sin, literally not doing the work. You sitting there like, how do you manifest Yah in this world? Is through your actions and your behavior. That's the witness. And some people are a terrible witness. Like you can't count on them. You know what I'm saying? For anything. And again, I'm really trying to drill this point home. Doing the work of Yah is not the studying and telling Yah how much you love him. It's showing him the works. And these are the works. And I can back it up with, we have brothers and sisters that you can see their zeal and their sincerity and what they're doing, not by a bunch of talk. Now they praise and worship too, but you see it in their actions. And the brothers here they know, like, hey, look, I see people praising and worshiping, but in my mind, I'd be like, okay, I'll see what their footwork about. You know what I'm saying? Because you ain't gonna get me on that. I'm about book. All right, so let's see. And this, going in on something else uh, attached to that fact. One of the like this is something that's it's so simple, but it took me years to figure out, or years for the Father to reveal it for me. For years, over 10 or 15 years, I've seeked the Father for the spiritual gift of discernment. And for even longer than that, 20 years or more, seek the Father for wisdom, and understanding. And just seeking for those spiritual gifts for years. And now with discernment, man, I look back at the way I used to be and look back and look now, and the Father is faithful and just. He will give you what you ask for in abundance, to the point where sometimes now I discern stuff and I don't even want to see it and acknowledge it. I'm like, oh man, now that can't be. I was like, I'm not gonna think too much about that. But sure enough, down the road, it comes, it manifests and it comes true. So it's just real talk, y'all. All right, so let me do this real quick. For those in the Florida area, we even have brothers and sisters coming in from outside of Florida, from Middle Georgia and all that stuff like that. So if you desire the fellowship. So here's a flyer. Let me get that comment off so you can see the whole thing. There we go. Now, you got to call that number first. You can show up at that address if you want, but you're not going to be attending unless you reach out to the dining hall and or reach out to me. Some of y'all have my contact information, so you can reach out to me and just reach out and make yourself known, and you come on out and attend once I've contacted you and talked to you. But I would call that dining hall number. You probably have to leave a message and they'll get back to you, so I wouldn't drag my feet on it. And that's the game plan. That's how we're gonna do this. But yeah, and we look, like I said, we look forward to seeing you. It says doors open at 11:30. I would say the doors open at 11 o'clock. Okay, we'll get that fixed so that we can kind of fellowship, talk a little bit, everything like that. And yeah, man, we're gonna be fellowshipping till late. We're gonna make the most of it. And I've already, because I mentioned it in another video I did about the Orlando Shabbat. I mentioned it, and a lot of people reached out, expressed a desire to come. So I think it's gonna be a good Shabbat. Like I said, I realized the Father didn't let me head out of here so quick because he got more sheep to add to the fold. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, I let the Most High guide my footsteps. Is what it is. All right. Anyway, I have been on here for a while, an hour and a half almost. Let me make sure I didn't miss any questions, comments, or concerns. Let's see. Yeah, so one brother in GA took okay, so that was Brother Brett. So yeah, it looks like all right. So, yep, looks like I pretty much addressed everything. Anyway, I appreciate all y'all tuning in. If y'all didn't catch the beginning of this, definitely go back. I see a lot of y'all in here now. Definitely go back there and catch the beginning of this. You know, where I was, getting the meat off the bone on this thing, on this topic. Anyway, with that said, y'all, I'm gonna wrap this stream up. Appreciate all y'all tuning in. I'm Michael Israel. You watching Spiritual Combat, and shalom, shalom.